You're listening to the Platform Launchers podcast. I'm John Stange, and it is great to have you with us this week. As always, as we talk about building and growing and monetizing our online platforms and taking our passions, turning them into a platform so we can earn a paycheck from that platform. And it's super great to be able to spend time with you each and every week. We've been doing this for a while. In fact, we've been doing this for 3 years now. And just a couple days ago, we reached that magic 3-year milestone for platform launchers, and I've been really excited about that. And that's what we're going to talk about in this week's podcast. We're going to be talking about the importance of that 3-year mark, that 3-year milestone. That's what I want to address. Very special week for me. In fact, September 29th, if you want to know the actual date, September 29th, 2021, that's when platform launchers officially went live. So that was 2 days ago from when I'm recording this podcast. And now we've reached the 3-year mark. It's been a full 3 years since I launched this platform, since I created this podcast, and most importantly, started our members club. And I will tell you, it has been an absolutely wonderful and encouraging time. In fact, in just a moment, I'm going to share several nice words of encouragement that I received from some of our members. But I'm telling you, it's been a wonderful time. I'm extremely grateful, extremely encouraged for for a variety of things, but most importantly, the change and the growth that I've seen taking place in our community. It's just been a wonderful thing to observe over the course of that time. And several of our members recently reached out to me. I don't even think I have all the messages here, but I want to share several things here before I get into some best practices about this magic 3-year mark that I want to encourage you to reach. But when you hit the magic 3-year mark, you get to hear nice messages like this. I'll read a few of them for you that I received this week. The first one's from Greg Gerber. Greg Gerber said this. He's one of our members in our members club. He said, "Happy anniversary to platform launchers. It's amazing how many people this group has helped in the 3 years since it was launched. Thanks, John Stange, for boldly going where nobody had gone before. You changed lives, and in return, they changed hundreds more." I love that. I saw that, and several people in our private Facebook group commented related to Greg's comment there. I also heard a message from Rich Avery not that long ago. He sent me an email and he said, "Congrats on the third birthday slash anniversary of platform launchers. I can't tell you what an inspiration you are to everyone in the group and those in the larger audience, and a personal blessing to me. You're prolific, consistent example of building your platforms, and the success you've garnered as a result speak volumes." Genuinely appreciate that, Rich. Rich is live on the call here as well. And so, Rich, thank you so much for those kind words. We also heard from B. Andreen. B said, "Yes, thank you, John, and all the Platform Launchers members for supporting and cheering us all on. Game changer for my business to have such wonderful people in my life. Truly a wonderful group." I completely agree, B. I'll read one more. There were a few others that came in, but I saw this one as well. Phyllis Jenkins said, "We thank God for your calling, an assignment to help us build, grow, and monetize our online businesses. I've been so blessed by your teachings, challenges, and this fantastic community. May God continue to expand your territory for his glory." That's a sample of some nice, encouraging words that I had the opportunity to see and read and hear over the course of this past week. And I'm really, really grateful for that. As you can imagine, I was really blessed to read those kind words from some very good friends. And I find it so gratifying to know that what we're doing together in platform launchers can be helpful to others who, right alongside us, are seeking to build, grow, and monetize their own online platforms. You hear us talk about that every single week here on the show, and it's just so encouraging and so fun to be able to do this together with such quality people. And I have been convinced, I wanted to read those to you, not just because they encouraged me, but because I want you to just see a sample of what keeps me motivated day after day to continue to be involved in the things that we're involved here. I have been convinced, absolutely convinced, for quite a long time that almost anything of significance takes at least 3 years to fully get off the ground and to reach a spot of sustainable momentum. I really do think that it takes 3 years. I think that's true in day-to-day life. I think that that can be true in church ministry. I've definitely seen that in that context. I think it can be very true in relationships. I remember my wife and I, we dated for a little over 3 years prior to us getting married, and definitely felt like that contributed to the health of our marriage. But I think that this is true in all sorts of areas in day-to-day life, but it's also true in this world of online platform development. And so reaching this special moment matters to me. And there are multiple lessons that I've learned in the process of doing this over the course of these past 3 years that I want to just take a few moments to share with you. If this is something that you have a vision for in your lane, if this is something that you've also been thinking about doing with the content that you enjoy creating, I just want to encourage you to create some long-term goals. I'd love to inspire you to create some long-term goals and then stick with those goals long enough to actually see them come to fruition. And there's some principles that I've learned over the course of the past 3 years that have been really reinforced into my brain. And I just want to take a moment just to walk through some of them. And number one on my list is this. And I hope this helps you as you try and just stick with what you're doing. But number one on this list is this: most people don't make it to year 3. Most people do not make it to year 3. I wish they did. When it comes to online platform development, most people in just the general world, the general ecosystem of creating podcasts or writing books or developing online platforms, most people, I'm convinced, don't make it to year 3. I wish they did, but the truth of the matter is that many people don't even make it to month 3 when they're building their online dream. I think sometimes they talk themselves out of continuing their work. I think sometimes they get discouraged if they don't see results happening very quickly. I think other times they may be surrounded by negative voices and negative attitudes that discourage them. Making it to a 3rd year is not as common as I wish it was. And as I've been working toward year 3 of what we're doing here with platform launchers, I've watched other platforms through the years that people had ideas for, but they gave up before they reached that 3-year mark. And if you're listening right now to the podcast, I want to encourage you, don't give up. If you've got the right idea, don't give up. All right, number 2 on my list is this: you won't always feel like being consistent, but you won't win if you aren't. You won't always feel like being consistent, but you're not going to win if you're not consistent. I'm a busy person. I know that many people who listen to this show or read the blog are busy people as well. I was just talking to Colleen Law, one of our members, that one of the most common things that many of us wrestle with is just how busy our schedules can be. And because of our many responsibilities, I think it could be very easy for any of us to just come up with excuses for not creating or releasing content on a weekly basis. But the people that I know that have succeeded in building an online presence are also people who don't come up with excuses. They don't let their feelings govern their behavior. In fact, it's the other way around. And what happens is their brain tells their hands what to do, and their hands get to work doing what they're supposed to do, regardless of what their heart may be feeling. So you can't succeed in this space if you aren't consistent. You're not always going to feel consistent or feel like being consistent, but you're not going to win if you aren't. So be consistent. All right, number 3 on the list. If you're meeting the right need in the right way, what you're doing will work. If you're meeting the right need in the right way, what you're doing will work. People are coming to you because you have the capacity, you have the wisdom, and you have the experience to help them solve problems and save time. That's why people are coming to you in the first place. Pay attention to what they need from you, and then attempt to meet those needs in helpful ways. If you listen to your audience, this is one of the key things to remember in online platform development. If you keep listening to your audience, they will literally reveal to you which products and which services you need to start offering. They will tell you. They'll just directly tell you. If you're listening to them, they will reveal to you the products and the services that you should create next. And if you're meeting the right need in the right way, what you're doing will work. Number 4 on my list is this: be kind and generous toward the people who come into your life. If you're developing an online platform, you're going to have the opportunity and the blessing, the privilege to interact with all kinds of people. There are people that your platform is going to serve who are also going to become good friends as well. And that's a real special thing that we have the opportunity to do with these online message-based platforms. You don't know who's going to come into your life when you first start building what you're building online. You don't know who that's going to be. But when you do start meeting those people, I would encourage you to be as much of a blessing to them as you can possibly be. So when it's within your power to encourage them, do so. When it's within your power to be generous toward them, don't hold anything back. I encourage you to keep those principles in mind because what I've noticed is the people that do this, they end up creating very healthy and enjoyable cultures within the ecosystem of their platform. And I think that if you're generous with others, I think that if you're kind toward the people that you have the opportunity to serve and work with, I think that that's going to infuse itself in a very healthy way into the culture of the online platform that you're developing. So take the opportunity to do that. Number 5 on my list is this, and I've been thinking about this a lot, especially now that we're at this 3-year mark. Be the kind of mentor that you wish you had. Be the kind of mentor that you wish you had. I've had multiple mentors throughout the course of my life in all kinds of areas. I've had some mentors that have done a wonderful job. I've also had a few mentors that I would say, if I'm honest, kind of let me down. And I would tell you that if you are in a position to mentor others, which you very well may be if you're creating a front-facing message-based online platform that puts you in front of many different faces or in many different ears, make sure you're the kind of mentor who stays focused on serving others instead of fixating on your own needs. I would have to say that the mentors that are in my life who have had the biggest impact on me were people who kept what I needed front and center in their minds. And they mentored me, understanding what my needs are, sometimes better than what I understood my needs to be in and of myself. The mentors who eventually let me down primarily saw the world from the perspective of their own desires. But the mentors that are people that, I look at and I think, wow, what a wonderful job they did. They were people that stayed focused on what would help me make steps forward and invested in what I was doing like that. And I want to encourage you, if you're in the process of developing an online platform, be the kind of mentor that you wish you had. Be that kind of mentor. Two other things that are on my list here, things that have been reinforced in my mind over the course of this 3-year period of time. And the number 6 on this list is this: don't be afraid of earning an income from your efforts and your expertise. And sometimes it takes that full 3 years before you really fully develop those income streams the way that you want them to be. But don't be afraid of earning an income from your efforts and from your expertise. I frequently encourage people to make monetization a priority because if they're monetizing what they're building online, they'll eventually be able to devote more time to it. That's why I make that a regular topic of discussion here on the podcast and in the blog and even in my books on this subject, because when monetization, when it's done correctly, it's not a greedy thing. It's a tool that can help free up your time and it can help you narrow your focus. And then it can also be something that you use to be a blessing to your family. So I encourage people, monetize your online platform if you're able to ethically do so. Many people, though, are very well, it's kind of like a secret. They're secretly fearful of earning a living from their online platforms. They want to earn a living from it, but they're kind of fearful of putting something out there with a price tag or putting a label on something that says, if you want this service or this product, it's going to cost this much. A lot of people are afraid of doing that. I hope you won't be. I hope that you will make monetization something that you focus on from an ethical perspective. Don't be afraid of earning an income from your efforts and your expertise. And it might take the full 3 years before you find yourself at a spot where that's a sustainable number, but keep working toward it. And the last thing on my list is this, something reinforced over and over again over the course of the past 3 years. And this one's a biggie. And it took me 3 years for this particular pointer to get to where it's at. The library of content that you create can become massively helpful, and it can become one of the biggest assets that are part of your online platform. So over the course of 3 years' time, that's 52 weeks times 3, right? So that's 156 weeks. Over the course of 3 years, you'll be surprised at how vast that online library of content can really become. When I look at platform launchers, I remember week 1, back in September of 2021, I had no recorded content. There was no vault of content at that point. There were no courses. There was no content that you could access on day 1. Nothing like that. But now, after 156 weeks, after 3 years of consistently creating multiple pieces of online content every single week, at this point, I literally have hundreds of hours of audio and video and all sorts of content immediately accessible to members when they join the Platform Launchers Members Club. So the second they join, they have access to hundreds of hours of video training and guest experts and all sorts of things. Our launch plan course, all of that. It took years to create that content, years. And now it's available to be utilized and learned from the second somebody becomes a member, in like immediately. And I look at that and I think, all right, that has become massively helpful, and it's also made the online platform that I'm leading here, it has more value to a member the moment they join. It's not eventual value, it's value on day one. So I'm sharing that with you to encourage you to literally, over the course of the next 3 years, as you build what you're building, save everything you're creating because it could be part of that library, your unique library that you're building. Save everything you're creating because the content that you're creating can become just a real powerful and valuable knowledge bank that's filled with information. It's filled with inspiration, all geared toward making life a lot easier for your new members, solving problems, offering encouragement, providing words of insight and wisdom, introducing them to guest experts and concepts that they haven't thought about before. That library of content that you're going to create over the course of 3 years, immensely valuable. So save everything and utilize it as something that your members can access once they join your online platform. If you do a membership style platform, I have to tell you, it has been an absolutely wonderful 3 years. And if God wills, I would love to keep doing what I'm doing for many, many additional years to come. And I want to thank you. If you're someone who listens to this podcast, or if you watch us on YouTube, or maybe you do both, maybe you also check out the blog. I don't know. Somehow you're accessing this content. If you're somebody who does that on a regular basis, I just want to thank you for being part of this journey with me. There is no journey here if we didn't do this together, and so I'm really grateful for the fact that I've had the opportunity to just come alongside, and you've come alongside me as well. Truly grateful for each of you, and I wish you much success, much, much, much success as you keep pressing on toward your 3-year milestones with your platform as well. It's well worth it. Stay hopeful, stay consistent. Eventually, you're going to be super grateful that you have. And again, thank you so much for partnering with me as I've been aiming toward doing that right here in Platform Launchers. As I mentioned quite frequently, we got a whole bunch of free stuff for you over at platformlaunchers.com. One of the biggies that you'll notice right on the homepage is a free 21-day platform development planning guide. If you don't have a copy of that yet, download it. Love to give you a copy of that, and I hope it'll be useful for you as you plan out your online platform. It'll help you discover your message and even learn how to monetize your content as you help other people with your expertise and your wisdom. But that's it for us this week as we venture now into year 4 of Platform Launchers, and I'm super excited to be on this journey with you. I hope you have an awesome week, and I hope you'll tune in right here next week so that you could join us again for some more content to help you build, grow, and monetize your online platform. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. Take care.